Let's now see about HTTP. HTTP is the most popular protocol in the internet. Because of the HTTP only, because of the World Wide Web, the entire internet has this much popularity now. So HTTP is a very basic protocol which has been there since 1990s, and even now it is very popular. So HTTP is mainly used for getting the web pages. So some important things, there is lot to be studying about HTTP, but I am going to teach you only important things which are very important for GET. So there is a lot actually only about this HTTP. There are various textbooks written which will contain at least 300 pages. So it is a very big topic, but let's not stick on to only the basics which will be important for GET. So first thing is HTTP runs at port number 80, and if you want to have any web page, you are supposed to contact the server. So there will be some server running, and you are supposed to contact the server at port number 80, and it will send you the web page, right? So web pages, getting the web pages can be done using HTTP. Okay, this is the main thing. And what are the various things about other things about HTTP is HTTP wants reliability. So whatever the underlying at application layer HTTP is running, whatever the underlying ISO OSI model or whatever TCP/IP or X.25, whatever the underlying network protocols are, they are all supposed to provide reliability to HTTP. So HTTP always relies on reliable support from the layers underlying the application layer. It need not be TCP/IP. Any other protocol suite which is below this application layer which is supporting HTTP should always provide reliability. HTTP doesn't provide reliability by itself. It depends on the underlying layer like TCP. Therefore, HTTP uses, very important, HTTP uses TCP at transport layer. The reason is, so whenever application, so HTTP expects that whatever transport layer TCP gives it, that is all reliable data, which means if some packet is lost, or if some data is lost, or if you get duplicate packets, or if the data is out of order, everything has to be taken care by TCP. HTTP doesn't know anything about it. Whatever TCP shows, HTTP will believe it. So there is no inbuilt facility in HTTP to provide reliability. So any service which does not use TCP should have an inbuilt facility which is required by the application to be reliable. So if you are using TCP, it is completely relying on the TCP. And the next one is HTTP is in-band protocol. In-band protocol means both the commands as well as data, they go in only one connection, which means there will be only one connection established between these two, and either the data or the commands, either if you are sending a command or if you are sending data, everything goes in the same stream, and there is no distinction made between the commands and data. Both of them have to go and sit in the same buffers, and both will be processed as if they are data only. So the commands will not get high priority here. It is simply this in-band protocol. In-band means commands and data will go in the same connection. There is no separate connection for commands. And HTTP is stateless. Stateless protocol. Stateless protocol means it is not going to maintain any information about the users. For example, if there is a website like www.ravindrababurawala.com, if you visit my website, I am not going to maintain any information about you. The reason is there will be millions of visits for a website every day, and if you keep on recording in the logs about every visitor who has visited you, then the database is going to be very high, right? And that database storing is a problem on the server machine. Therefore, the server machine will run out of the memory. So unnecessarily we are not going to save any information about the users. But then some websites, they really want to know much about their users, which means they want to know about what are the activities that a user has done on the previous time, and depending on which they want to show the next activities. For example, on Amazon.com, if you have bought the book Harry Potter third part 3, then next time when you visit the Amazon.com website, it is better that they show you part 4, right? So anyways, Amazon is a separate implementation. They are actually logging in every user, but let us say there is some other e-commerce website or some other website which want to know about your previous activities, and depending on which they want to show you the next page. Then what will they do is, they will create a concept, they will create a small packet called as cookie, and they will drop it on the user side, which means as a server there will be no information stored about the client. On the client side, the server will drop a packet called as cookie, and now whenever this client goes to the server for the next time connection, server will see this cookie, which means client will show the cookie, and client will see it, server will see it, and understand that, oh, previously this is the history happened between me and that client, therefore I can continue with him by showing the next pages. Therefore cookies are used because it is stateless. It is very important. Remember that HTTP is a stateless protocol. Stateless means it doesn't have anything about the clients. And two popular versions of HTTP is HTTP 1.0. it was non-persistent. It used non-persistent connection. So non-persistent means if you have 10 objects in a website, what is an object is, the HTML page is an object, and inside that there are pictures, right? All these pictures are generally objects, and all these objects will be fetched in order to show the web page. Let us say in a web page there are 10 pictures, and then in order to organize these pictures, the entire code is present in a HTML file. Now if there are 10 objects, then if you use HTTP 1.0 version, then it is a non-persistent connection. Every object, in order to get every object, one connection will be opened, and after getting one object, that connection will be closed. Therefore if you use non-persistent connections, then for 11 objects, if there are 10 pictures plus the HTML page, for 11 objects, 11 connections will be opened, and from every connection one object will be fetched and then closed. But then HTTP 1.1 is using persistent connection. Persistent connection means there will be only one connection established, and that one connection is going to fetch all the data, right? So what is the advantage of using non-persistent and persistent is, in non-persistent the server need not hold the connection for a long time, and it will immediately close the connection. But in persistent, the server is going to hold the connection for a long time, and what is the benefit out of it is, the congestion window, when it is downloading many packets, then the congestion window will grow very fast. Therefore in persistent, bandwidth will be high, but it is risky for the server. The reason is, it has to open a connection for a long time, it has to keep a connection open for a long time. Anyways, there are many, even now these days, this Google and Amazon, they are investing lots of money into these servers, that when you open a connection with the server, they are going to keep you always on, always logged in, which means for you the connection is going to be open all the time. It is not a problem for them because it is their business. And some websites, they don't their business is not making money from your online customers, like IRCTC. So they are not going to have this connection open for a long time. So if you open a connection with IRCTC and you don't do anything for some time, you will say that connection is terminated. The reason is, they have keep alive timers, and using which they are going to cut the connection if you are idle for some time. Their business is not making money out of the online users, isn't it? But if you look at a Gmail account, you can open the Gmail account for days together, and never you are going to get anything like connection terminated or anything like that, because their business is making money from the online users, isn't it? So either, depending on that, either the connections can be persistent and non-persistent, both are currently used. And even though I am saying all these rules like stateless and all, it all actually depends on the server side implementation. Many people are implementing or changing the code of HTTP server in such a way that none of these rules are generally followed. One thing is TCP is used generally, and then this stateless is actually a question mark, because many of the websites are now maintaining the state of the users, which means whenever you log in, they are going to record all your activities, and next time when you log in, they are going to trace you back, like what you did last time and all. So there are various modifications. These are the standard I am talking about, and this is about the all the points. And let's see what are the methods that are supported by HTTP. These are the 8 popular methods which are generally used in HTTP. One is head. So if you use this method, you are supposed to get the header of the web page, which means you are not interested in getting the entire web page, you are just interested in looking about the metadata about the web page. So why is this useful is there are some servers called as HTTP cache. So every country will set up a central server called as HTTP cache or web cache. So whenever you send out the whenever you ask for any web page, before actually going to the server which is in some other country and getting the web page, every country will look into their local cache. So if it is information, if the web page is already present inside your local cache, generally they are maintained by IETF, Internet Intelligence Task Force. They have at every country they will maintain a local cache. So if already some information is present in this local cache, then it is better that you get the information from there. For example, someone has written a blog and you want to get the blog. Then what you do is, as a host, you will be here. Let us say this is the host on which you are there and you want to read a blog written by someone, and you will initially ask your default gateway for the web page. Now your default gateway will contact the local HTTP cache of your country and see if that web page is present in the HTTP cache. In case if it is present, it will directly get it. It will get it from here and directly give you. In case if it is not present, then you have to go to a different location and then get it from the server, right? Therefore, in order to do this, there is something called as conditional get. So this server HTTP cache, it is a concept which is in a not implemented everywhere, but in case if it is implemented, this is how it happens. Otherwise, your gateway is going to maintain the cache. Your gateway is also going to maintain the HTTP cache. So in India, gateways, every ISP is going to have a HTTP cache, which means whenever you ask them for some web page, they are going to send the web page from their local memory, but still they are going to charge you for that. But actually that is free for them. Why? They are not actually getting it from anywhere else. It is just present in their local memory and they are sending you. Even sometimes, if there is a popular song like if there is a popular trailer, then many people will be watching it on YouTube. Then what your gateway will do is, it will fetch the song once, or that particular advertisement or ad once, that of the new film. Let us say Shah Rukh Khan's film got released and his trailer is there on the internet. Then that trailer will be fetched by the gateway once, by Airtel gateway, and if millions of clients want to watch it, it will not actually go to YouTube all the time. It will just keep on sending the same thing from their cache, but then they will charge you as if they are getting the information from that place, right? So that is one more thing. Anyway, there is also something called as HTTP cache. Now either there is a HTTP cache for every country, or in India, gateways are going to implement them. Gateways means your ISPs at their gateways. Now if the web page is already present in their gateway, they are going to send you. But the problem is, the block might have been modified, which means you have asked for the block now and a blog now, and that blog has been modified after this old copy is there. It has got a old copy and now the server might have updated the copy to be new one. Then what this will do is, whenever you ask for this copy of the blog, it will first know whether the copy it has is fresh or not. For that it will ask for the head. So once it gets the head that contains the metadata about that web page. Now in that web page there is something called as lost modified. Lost modified means when is it last updated. So if it sees that the copy whichever it is having has been modified since it got downloaded, then what it will do is, it will get the new copy and update it. In case if it sees that the copy is not modified, which means the copy has been there and then after that the copy is not modified here, then it will send you that directly. So in that case, head is going to be very useful to get the metadata, and head contains many things like what is the size of the web page, how many objects are there, and everything. That is actually metadata about the web page that you wanted to get. And get is nothing but get the web page or get the resource, whatever. And post is sometimes you will fill in the forms like username and then first name, surname, password, everything. That is called, whenever you fill something, so we want to send the data to the other side, that is called posting. That is where you use post. And put is to upload a object, to upload anything, either a web page or anything. If you want to upload something, then that is called put. Delete is to delete a object. Trace it, sometimes you want to trace out what are the servers that your data is coming from. So whether the data is coming from your HTTP cache, or whether it is coming from some other proxy server, or what is the path, which means what are all the servers which are involved in sending you the message. There you can use the trace. And options is, you want to find out whether a server is providing all these methods or not. Typically the servers are not supposed to provide all the methods. They are just supposed to provide head and get, only these two, which means you can find out the header and you can get the web page, and all the others are optional. So if you want to find out whether these optionals are provided by the server or not, you can use the options. And next one is connect. So connect is used by HTTPS. So there is something called as TCP tunneling, which is not there in our syllabus, so I'm not going to discuss about it. So in HTTPS, when you want the security, then we want the connect. So what is the specialty of the connect is, it will be authenticated. So you will be giving your password, username and password, and in every packet that is being sent, you will be sending the username and password so that the receiver can understand that it is only you. So these are the well-known methods. Anyway, nothing has been asked in GATE about this. So but then still it is good that you know about all this, right? So this is all about the HTTP. There are a lot to learn about HTTP, but then I'm just worried about or I'm just concentrating only on GATE. If you want to learn about HTTP, the best resource is RFC. You please Google out RFC about HTTP, right? Request for comments for HTTP.